Welcome to another episode of Gotta Go Fast. Today, we'll be looking at Resident Evil 3, released in 1999 on the PlayStation 1. Resident Evil 3 is the end piece to the Raccoon City trilogy of games, and goes out with a bang. Literally. Reprising her role from the first game, you play as Jill Valentine, who must survive the zombie-infested streets of Raccoon City to make her last escape. However, a new tyrant bioweapon known as Nemesis is on the hunt for her and the rest of the STARS members, tasked with ensuring they never make it out alive. The Nemesis was an all-new experience for Resident Evil games. A villain who constantly stalks you throughout your adventure. At every encounter, even if you do knock him down, he'll get right back up and keep stalking you to the bitter end. The first few times you play, the Nemesis definitely puts fear and uncertainty into you. Although his encounters are scripted, they do make you feel like he is truly hunting you through the city. With the remake of Resident Evil 3 coming up right around the corner, I'm even more excited to see the elements of surprise and terror that the Nemesis puts in me. Resident Evil 3 added a lot of new mechanics to the series, and in my opinion made it the pinnacle of the classic series from a gameplay perspective. Jill has the ability to do a quick dodge when enemies are about to attack her, allowing her to get out of the way and even quickly counter with an attack. In addition to regular ammo, you can also find gunpowder throughout the game, which can be converted into various different ammo types depending on how you combine them. At various points, you have the ability to head down different branching paths, which influence how the story plays out and forces you different setups depending on what you choose. You also get access to the Mercenaries mode after beating the game, which pits you in a race against time to make it all the way to the end of the map, while killing enemies and rescuing survivors. All this culminates into a highly replayable experience for me every year I pop it in. Resident Evil 3 is actually my favorite game of the series, and has always been a special game to me growing up, but I honestly can't put my finger on what specifically it is that makes me feel that way. I think it's a combination of things when I sit down and think about it. The terror of the Nemesis, the claustrophobic corridors of the city, and the general destruction you get to see as you venture throughout different areas of the map. It just kind of puts a weird, all sense of nostalgia in for me. That's about the best way I can describe it. To share a funny story, it's actually one of the games that got me into the idea of game design. As a kid, I used to sketch maps for game ideas that I wanted to build. By far, my most detailed map was for an alternate version of Resident Evil 3. It still had the same feel of the city you see normally in the game and some familiar landmarks, but the layouts and designs were all different. I made this map probably a year or two after the game came out, and randomly stumbled across it a few years ago when I was unboxing some old things from my parents' place. It just put a smile on my face and brought back all the warm memories I had with this game. Kind of an odd thing to have happy memories about though, right? A game revolving around horror, death, and zombies? But who cares? I enjoy it. That's all that really matters. If I were to tell you that Resident Evil 3 is one of the hardest games to speedrun in the series, would you believe me? It's not actually difficulty that makes the run hard, it's the amount of randomness that can occur in the game that actually does it in. Everything from enemy behavior, item locations, and puzzle solutions can vary from run to run, meaning you have to be on your toes to adapt to any situation that can be thrown at you. The first factor we have to deal with is puzzle randomization. Some of the puzzles can be one of a few different combinations, and the fastest way to solve them is just through raw guessing of all possible combinations. So our goal for our first guess is to be the correct one, otherwise we're just spending time guessing wrong answers. We also have one random factor in our power weapon pickup. When we head into the police station, there's a chance for us to either pick up the grenade launcher or the Magnum. Ideally, we want the grenade launcher, otherwise we'll have to spend more time later on to pick it up. Finally, where enemies are positioned throughout the map and how they try to attack us could gain or lose us time. Even Nemesis' actions can influence how the run goes as a whole. For this run specifically, we'll be playing the US PlayStation 1 version of the game via emulation on the hard difficulty. Sounded like a mouthful, right? Well, Resident Evil 3 has a lot of variations and categories for its runs, and they can play a large factor into the actual time that you get for it. Technically speaking, the US version of it is actually the hardest one to run due to the increased damage you receive that's only in the US version, and the runtime actually just significantly being longer. The current world record for the run type we're doing is 1 hour and 12 minutes, but compare that to the Taiwanese PC version, which has a world record of just under 41 minutes, and is the shortest run across all of them. So lots of variation exists depending on which category or platform you pick. Time-wise, we're looking at 41 minutes to escape the burning Raccoon City, 10 minutes to knock down the Nemesis for the first time, 11 minutes to rescue the infected Jill as Carlos, 20 minutes to make it to the dead factory and send Nemesis to the trash compactor, and 8 minutes to give Nemesis the stars he's been hunting for. This comes to a total of 1 hour and 30 minutes. Some runs are tight on time, but this one couldn't be tighter. The randomness of AIs, puzzles, item placement will all play heavily into how quickly we can do this run, so we really gotta hope for the best. Alright, let's hunt for some stars. It's time to go fast. Welcome everyone to another episode of Gotta Go Fast. I'm your host, Savior X Tandrin, and today we're playing a very near and dear game in my heart. A game I grew up with for many years and loved to replay. A favorite of mine, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Yes, we're playing the original PS1 classic released in 1999 in preparation for the Resident Evil 3 remake that's coming out at the time of this airing this video within a few days, most likely. So yeah, this is a game that I really loved. It is my personally favorite Resident Evil game of all time. It's one I spent many years just replaying over and over again. Like as you saw during the opening intro thing, I have literally maps that I built of this game back in the day of like, you know, ideas I had for stuff I wanted to have for different layouts, custom maps and different layouts and like stuff I couldn't do, obviously. Probably have very little ability to do it now, but you know, just it was a cool thing. It really influenced me a lot for what I wanted to do when it came to just game design as a whole, of what I wanted, where I wanted to be. So it's a game very near and dear to me. So that's it. So today's run, we are doing the any percent. No, you're right. This is a long one actually. The PS1 emulator any percent hard mode run. Let me do that one more time. The PS1 emulator any percent hard mode run. All of those are individual qualifiers for this run as a whole. It's kind of crazy. So we're doing the PS1 version specifically as opposed to like the PC or the Dreamcast version. We're doing an emulator version as opposed to the actual hardware console version just to make it easier for capturing purposes. We're doing an any percent run, which is just specifically beat the game, do it as how fast you need to, no major glitches or any crap like that. And we're doing the hard mode version, which is specifically the US version as opposed to the heavy mode version, which is the Japanese version. So yes, all those are qualifiers in how this run works. So, time's going to start for this game as soon as basically the game world loads. So there's some FMV cutscenes here we're going to skip. There's going to be some text that's going to show at the bottom. As soon as this text disappears, the game world's going to load in. That's time start. Time end is going to be when the helicopter animation video shows at the very end. Cool. So that's basically time start right there. Like, man, maybe we did like half a second early. Give or take. It's close enough. So this is going to be a super tight run. Like I normally say, like, oh, sometimes like, oh, this run's going to be a little tight here and there, blah 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 blah. No, this is a tight run, and there's a reason why this is a very tight run. Resident Evil 3 is the most random heavy game of all the Resident Evil games. There is so much stupid amounts of randomness to this game. It's ridiculous. Enemy placement can vary, item locations, important items you need can vary, puzzle layouts can change. It's just all over the place in the amount of stuff that can happen. And it can really screw over your run just in how much things can just be unprepared. Heck, the most notorious area in the game, the beginning, the first split, basement, that you'll see soon, has the most amount of randomness to it that just can kill a run early on if you're going for like a world record run. Now, we're not going for a world record run, so it's fine, but, you know, point standing, it's still going to cause us some issues here and there, so it's going to be a little bit of a tight one. We'll see how well we can do overall. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to go upstairs, get the warehouse key to this building, so we can exit out, and we're going to actually dump the handgun. We're not going to use the handgun. We're never using it for the entire run. We're getting rid of it. We're instead going to replace it very, 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 very shortly with the shotgun, which we're going to pick up like in about 2 rooms from now, basically. That is going to be our primary, like, fly swatting weapon, if you will. That's going to allow us to take care of the big bad guys along the way. Or not the big bad guys, rather more, but the smaller guys. Zombies, a few, you know, smaller time dogs and stuff like that here and there. The reason why is, obviously, the shotgun's a much more powerful weapon. If you get up close to a zombie, you can headshot them pretty much in one shot. So, it's a lot more quicker to get by them as opposed to using a pistol. Now, if I were trying to go for super optimal, I wouldn't use a pistol at all. I would just dodge them or let them eat me. But it's really, really hard to get that sort of optimalness to it, especially if I'm only doing this run for a month. Which, once again, is the qualifier. I only spend a month doing a run or less, so I have to be realistic about the goals and the expectations that I set, and that's just not one of them. So, I want safety in my run to make sure we can actually finish it and have a pretty good time of how we view this stuff. So, first thing here, like I said, basement's going to spawn. We're going to have these zombies that are going to pop out here. And we're going to leave and then re-enter this room, which is going to rejigger them into different positions. What we're hoping for is that the zombies are going to be in a better position to allow us to get easily and quickly downstairs to that basement. We're probably going to get bit 2 times, ideally only 1 time. Really hard to only get bit once, though. And then we're going to get out of here after we get the stuff that's inside there. I'm not having good luck at all. Yeah. Alright. So that guy bit me. That's 1 bite. That's okay. I'm going to get bit by this guy right here. And I knocked him down without actually getting bit, which is good. That's good so far. But I need to hope that these guys are not on the stairs. If they are on the stairs, they're going to cause problems for me. Okay, they're not. So now I just need to run out by them. Alright, that's 2. Okay. Okay, that wasn't too bad, actually. So we got 2 bites, a couple grabs that failed, and we got an actual lunge out. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad. We'll take that. Like I said, a lot of these are going to be very tight. Like, you're not going to see me getting, like, you know, you're not going to see me getting, like, minute savings here. I'll be lucky if I get a couple seconds of savings on some of these ones. They're going to be super tight. Because you'll notice right now, like, a lot of these times are very down to, like, the second. They're not, like, 5 minutes or 4 minutes. They're, like, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Or 3 minutes and 10 seconds. They're very specific because that is literally the handicap time I have set for the... I can get by. He's a little difficult to get by sometimes, particularly. Sometimes you can get by him good-wise, sometimes I can't. Just depends a little bit. But yeah, okay, so... Our goal right now is we need to basically make forward progress to get us to the police station, so we need to pick up a few things. We already picked up some lighter fluid, which is going to help us. We now need to pick up the actual lighter itself to combine with the lighter fluid to let us burn something. We're going to find a gate that's a little bit ahead from the area here where we're going, and we're going to use that lighter to burn down some rope that's keeping the gate tied together. Now, when we do that, we're going to do a bunch of menuing stuff that we got to get out of the way with because we want to avoid going to the menu as much as we possibly can to try to save us some time of where, you know, time we're wasting basically sitting in the menu, ideally. That's going to be another thing you're going to see me do. Like, I'm trying to be very optimal about how much time I spend in the menu because time spent in the menu is time I'm in the game world not doing something. Alright. Now, here's the issue. They just broke down the gates there. So I have a very, very limited amount of time before those zombies bite me. And then delay me trying to get into the gate. So I hope that I can possibly get to that gate before getting bit. We'll see if I can pull it off. Okay. Woo! Okay, that was very lucky. I kind of backed up a little bit, hoping I could then run at the last second to get in there. And that worked not too badly. That worked not too badly, actually. Alright, so next split's coming up soon. RPD gates, we're a little bit behind on time here. Like I said, these are... even though I didn't get bit that much leaving basement, the fact that I got grabbed as many times as I did ate into our time a little bit, unfortunately. So, just is what it is. So, we're technically in the red right now, but we'll see how things fare as time goes along a little bit. Alright, so now we have our first encounter with the Nemesis. We're going to say, hello, Nemi, and then we're going to run out of dodge and get rid of Nemi. Because we don't want to deal with him. Now, normally we would spend the time to go pick up Brad's card there to help us figure out where, what the password is to help us unlock our way into a key vault, like a little drawer in the star's office to allow us to get access to a key. But we're just going to instead do a guessing game because it's just a little bit faster that way. And saves us an inventory slot as well, too. So there's one of 4 combinations it has. I'm hoping I get it right the first time, but unfortunately, we don't have a lot of control over what the number is. It's entirely random, and the only way to know for certain which number it is to physically pick up the card. So, we're going to hope that we get it right the first time. We'll see if that's the case, though. Alright, so first number on the docket we're going to try is 0, 1, 3, 1. Holy crap, first try! Woo! Okay, alright. That's a 1 in 25% chance, guys. 1 in 25% chance. Okay. Now that one's not too bad. What we really need to hope for is whether we're going to have good luck getting grenade launcher up here. So, there's a thing that's not... if you're doing world record pace, it's a run killer up here. Which is, at the top here, we're going to go into the star's office. And inside the star's office, we're going to find a special weapon. Like a specialty weapon that's sitting inside one of the lockers here. We want that to be the grenade launcher. Or it could be the Magnum. If it's the Magnum, we have to spend additional time later to pick up the grenade launcher in a different area. So that eats into our time. So please, everybody, cross your fingers and hope to dear God it's the grenade launcher. We'll find out very shortly whether it is or not. Come on, grenade launcher. Crap. Magnum. Okay. Alright. Not good. Not good. But we'll work around it. We'll work around it. So we're going to lose probably about 30 seconds, at least 30 seconds down the road that we don't have much control over because we have to spend time picking up the grenade launcher in a different area. So, that kind of sucks. So we just have to be a little bit fast with our time to make sure that we can get there with enough time to do it. We'll see how that works now, won't we? Alright. So Nemi's going to pop out of that window. We're going to say, hi, Nemi, and then we're going to say bye, Nemi, and get out of Dodge, because we don't want to be here anymore. Because we got the lockpick, which is what we needed. So now we need one more piece here, which is this blue gem here, that we're going to grab as we leave on our way out. And then we are done with the police station. We're never coming back here again. So now we just have to make it through while these zombos are chilling out and hope that they don't grab us. And Nemi doesn't rocket us as we're leaving, too. That's also important. Because Nemesis has a rocket launcher. So that's one of the big things that I love about this game as a whole. Is normally, and Resident Evil 2 started to introduce that with Mr. X. But in the first Resident Evil, you encounter the Tyrant at the very end, and he's like the big bad boss. He's scary. And then in Resident Evil 2, you can eventually encounter Mr. X, depending on which scenario you're playing, which factors into him stalking you around the police station. But he kind of shows up in a couple of times here and there, and he's sort of predictable. But he's not... he's scary, but he's not crazy scary. Nemesis is very scary, because he can show up randomly in different areas, depending on how the game's laid out. He might show up in some areas, he might show up in others, he might use his rocket launcher to try to blow you up, he might come in and try to punch you straight in the face. You don't know what he's gonna do. And, it's kind of a problem. It's kind of a problem. Heck, even in, the speedruns as a whole, you don't know what's gonna happen. Sometimes he might spawn in front of you, Sometimes he might spawn a little bit later. He might do different things every time you do a run, which can eat into your time and affect things slightly differently. So he's a bit of an unpredictable guy, and I think that's kind of cool as far as a game's perspective, at least. He like truly puts a sense of terror into you when you play the game as a whole. Like, he actually makes you scared of what you're going to encounter, which is kind of like a neat thing as a whole. I like that as an aspect. Yeah. It's really hard. Oh, really? 2 bites? 2 bites, doggos? Oh my god, let me get by. Woo, those dogs were being mean to me. Alright, that's fine. It's okay, because we have a first aid spray on us, and we're going to use that first aid spray when we need to heal. So, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Alright, we're going to toss the lighter in here, because we're not going to use that again for a long time, actually. But we need to hold on to the lockpick, because we're going to use that in order to allow us to get access to the fire hook, which we need to clear the next objective area. Okay. So now, we're going to encounter, not the worst, but the second worst enemy type in the game. These little bloodsucker guys. They're very frustrating, because they can nick you as you run by, and depending on how low your health is, they can grapple onto you and suck you dry, blood, like all your blood and everything, and just kill you if you're low enough health. It kind of sucks, and they're a little bit random and a little annoying. There's only one more enemy type that frustrates me more than them, but they're, needless to say, not exactly a type I'm very happy about. Alright, so we got bit there, that's fine. That's what we have the first aid spray for. That's okay. We have those safety sprays for a reason. And we're going to pick up another one very, very shortly. So we're in a good position right now. We made it to here, and we only just used the first aid spray. So we're nice and full for a good while, which will be helpful. Alright, so we got the fire hook. We're going to use the fire hook up here on this area to let us in down below. Nemesis going to spot us, and he's going to say, hey you, out of the kitchen. This is my domain of kitchen. Get out of my kitchen. So we're going to say, okay, we're going to run the basement. We're going to call that a day.
This way.
Because we don't want, we figure, hey, if he doesn't want us in the kitchen, we'll just go to the basement. Just go to the basement. It's easy enough, easy enough explanation to go with, right? No issues there. Alright. So basement's going to flood. We're going to run out of here. We're going to make our way through this ventilation shaft. Now, what's funny is, they make this a very scary thing. Like, oh god, the basement's flooded. What are you going to do? There's a big ventilation shaft up here that you can climb out of, so it's not that scary. And also, if the basement floods, the water would just go out the ventilation shaft. So you wouldn't drown, because the water would just pour out of the ventilation shaft. So I don't really understand fully why that's... I wasted extra ammo on that guy. Boo. Boo, you making me waste ammo like that. Yeah, it's fine. So yeah, it's not that scary of a thing, honestly. I don't know why it's not scary. Should have gotten a little closer to that enemy, then I wouldn't have wasted the extra shotgun shell to clear him out. So you're gonna notice, like, because there's a lot of backtracking in this game, like, you have to go through a lot of areas. We're gonna try to be very selective about the enemies we kill to make our pathway as ideal as we possibly can, for backtracking purposes. So like that alleyway we were just in, where I shotgunned that zombie, when we go back through, we're gonna kill 3 of them, which is gonna allow us just to have a little bit of a clearer path to ensure that we don't run into any issues going through and save some health, because shotgun shells are not that difficult to come by, for the amount that we need at least. So we're just gonna keep clear. Okay, so in the RPD station, I grabbed that blue gem. We grabbed that for a reason, because we need that for a puzzle coming up. And in here, there's going to be a green gem we're going to grab. And those 2 gems are going to allow us to do this puzzle that's going to allow us to get access to the park area. So we need to progress forward in the game. So we're eventually making our way towards the trolley station, where we're going to encounter some allies who are hopefully going to help us out. Or are they allies? Who knows? Trick question. They are kind of allies, sort of. Some of them are, but they're with Umbrella. They're with the Umbrella Mercenary Unit. But they're okay. Most of them are. Carlos is a pretty good guy. Mikhail's a good guy. He's a bro. He's a bro. Does good things. Nikolai, not so much of a good person. Not so much. Though, if anybody was not aware that he was going to be a bad person when they met him, I'd be very surprised at you, honestly. Alright, so there we go. There was our other first aid spray as our little safety. We're basically always going to carry a first aid spray on us at all times. And we're only going to always have one. There's going to be a couple exceptions to that, where we'll have 1 or 2 extra first aid sprays on us. The final boss fight particularly, because we have nothing to lose at that point. So we're just going to grab everything we have in our inventory and just make it work to mess him up really bad. And against Wormy. We'll talk about Wormy later. Wormy's an interesting boss, to say the least. Alright, so, we're basically making our way towards the train station coming up here. And we're gonna be, where the story is gonna eventually go is we need to repair the train to help get us out of the city. And by getting us out of the city, we can get out and hopefully save ourselves. But the train's missing a bunch of components and parts. So we need to be able to pick up those parts to allow us to, basically, yeah, get out of here, you. One of them's always going to grab me. That's usually how it is. Sometimes, unless I'm really fast and smooth, I can get by there without getting bit. But we need to get some stuff for the train to allow us to be able to get out of here, and there's some components that we're missing to be able to do that. We've grabbed one of them already, which was that power cable we picked up in the garage. But we need to do a couple other things. We need to go to the substation to turn on the power. We need to mix some oil that's going to allow it basically act as like fuel for the actual train itself. And we need to get a fuse, because there's a fuse missing that basically would not have it give power. So, kind of important thing to have power. So we have the power cable first here initially. We're going to toss that in as soon as we get inside, so it's out of our inventory. So that's in there at least. So that's one less thing we have to worry about carrying down the road. We're going to have some exposition and cutscenes. We're going to skip all this because time is of the essence. And now that we've come over here, we've gotten all this stuff objective. There's actually a physical reason we had to come over here beyond just all this talking and conversation. Number one is we get an expansion pack that allows us, expansion pack, baggy pack, whatever you want to call it, that allows us to store now 10 items. Oh boy. Which is going to really make our life a lot easier for carrying stuff down the road. That's the first thing. The second thing is we get access to the wrench, which we need for basically like... I think we need that. So we need that in order to get access to essentially 2 different components of the train that we need to build as time goes on. So, you know, kind of an important thing to have on hand. So now we're basically going to make our way all the way back to the downtown, uptown area that we came from. We're going to pick up all the components we need, and then we're going to make our way back to the train, trying to minimize our back and forth as much as possible, ideally. So first thing we're going to do is head to the substation. We're going to encounter some zombies over here. So we need to kind of deal with our zombies here a little bit to allow us to not get bit. Ooh, okay, that was very clean. I'll take that. Ooh, that was a good type of clean. So we should have 3 rounds in our shotgun. 3 rounds, I think, which is about the amount that we want. So we're going to use that to take out a lot of these zombies here. I got most of them. Now we got all of them. So we're doing that mainly just to make our life a little bit easier, because those guys could be a little bit of a nuisance, because we have to come back this way 2 more times. So by just making sure they're gone and out of the way with me, make life just a little bit easier. Once again, for the sake of saving time and health a little bit. If we were really good, we would just actually let them, if we were trying to be optimal for time, we'd just let them bite us. But since we have the shotgun, it makes life a little bit easier. Oh, by the way, I have an interesting question. Hey, Carlos, would you say you're having a good day today? What do you think? No! Oh, poor Carlos. He's not having a good day today, man. That's unfortunate to hear. Yeah, just unfortunate, man. Okay, so we picked up the bronze book from that statue over there. We're going to use that over in this location up here to slot this bronze book into this little opening that you kind of can sort of see straight ahead, which is going to allow us to get access to the other thing that's on the left side there, which is a bronze compass. which they say it's bronze, but it really looks silver to me. Doesn't that look silver? Like, bronze I expect to be like a much, like, more deeper brownish color. It's not really what I'm seeing right now, unfortunately. And now, we're going to take that bronze compass all the way back to the statue to put that in, and then it's going to flip around and give us a battery. And we're going to use that battery to help us get to the substation. So we're going to kill these zombies along the way here to give us a little bit of a good clearing path. Just to make sure that we don't run into any other issues along the way. Alright, so all 3 of those are down. I only got 1 headshot on those guys, but you can tell they're dead because they have the red blood spots. Now there's 2 other zombies that are up back towards where we went for the restaurant. We're not going to worry about those. Alright, we got puppers. Oh! That was a bad bite. Yeah, okay. Ooh. 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 Those puppies bite, man. Those puppies bite. So ideally, I want crows there. Crows are particularly kind of the best. But, you know, we'll take what we can get with dogs. So we're going to grab that herb. Even though we're still green, we are definitely very, very close to getting in yellow caution. So we're just going to use that herb real quick. We're going to top ourselves off, basically, and just make sure we're in a good state going forward. Because, you know, if it's a free, literally, it's kind of a semi-free herb. We have to literally walk very close to it. So it's not a huge loss for us time-wise, really going forward. Now, luckily, for the rest of the time we run back through here, those dogs are not going to be a nuisance to us. They're going to be just chomping on those bodies that are chilling there. And it's fine. It's fine. So luckily, because we killed those zombies here, we now have a pretty clear path. There's some zombies over there up the steps behind us right now, but we're never going to run into them. So, we don't need to worry about it. Okay. So, we're now going to go back to this area where the bloodsuckers are. We're going to make our way to the power station. Now, this part's going to be a little bit frustrating because, remember how I said earlier, we ideally want... Oh god, get off me. Freaking blood. See what I say? Bloodsuckers suck. Look at that. Look at that crap, man. Look at this crap. They just hound you. They just hound you, especially if you have trouble getting by them. They're just going to make your life difficult. Ow. Okay. Woof. Yeah, those guys suck. They suck. They're really annoying to get by, because you just want to run by them, but sometimes they just nick you too many times. They just cause you frustration. Alright. So luckily, these zombies are all going to throw up on us, which is really good. And we're just going to run right past them. Because sometimes those zombies will actually they'll be more spread out and they'll try to bite you. Sometimes they'll instead just be all chilling there and they'll just try to throw up on you. Throwing up on you is pretty nice because you can just barrel right through them. Because that's all they're going to do. So power station, we have a couple things we need to do here, unfortunately. Yeah, now even more of a couple things. So first things first, we're going to turn on the power here. And then we're going to run over here and we're going to grab all 3 of these gunpowders. Now, the reason why we're grabbing these gunpowders is we're going to use them later on to give us some special ammo. So there's a special piece, as I talked about during the intro, about how the gunpowders work, where they basically allow you to be able to create more ammo of different types, rather than just inherently there being like, here is, you know, handgun ammo all the time. It's, here's gunpowder, you can combine that into whatever ammo type you want it to be. So, it's kind of a neat thing that gives you some flexibility in like what ammo you really want to use and what's more ideal for the run you're trying to do. We're going to use those, for our case, to allow us to make some freeze ammo. But not for a while. Because right now, what we have to do is this part that's going to eat into some of our time. We have to increase the electrical output, which is going to fry all these zombies. We then have to then use the substation again to activate the right door that's over there, because that's where the grenade launcher is. Now, ideally, we would want the grenade launcher to be in the RPD station, but that was not how the cards played out for us, so this is what we have to accept at this point. So we're going to lose probably, you know, 30 seconds at least. More than 30 seconds possibly now at this point. We'll see. A little over 30 seconds. That's just the way the cards get dealt a little bit. So before we head outside, we're going to do one thing real quick. We're going to take one of these, convert them to shotgun ammo just to give us a little extra space. And then we're out of dodge. So yeah, as you saw, because of how things just played out, we lost time there, unfortunately. Because we had to go get the grenade launcher from that location. So now we're going to run back out, and we're going to hook through these zombies. Very nice, and not get bit. So that makes our lives a little easier. And now we have to go back through this area where the bloodsuckers are. Now, hopefully, the bloodsuckers are a little nicer to us this time as opposed to they were when we tried to get through them. But knowing my luck, they're probably going to be nice. They're probably not going to be very nice. Okay. That was actually okay. And we're never going to encounter those bloodsuckers again in that hallway. Which is good. Which is a very good thing. Alright, so we're going to dodge across some zombies. And we're going to make our way into the, this the safe station here, and we're going to actually dump off a couple items here. We're going to dump off this, and we're going to dump off the grenade launcher, because we're not going to use them, and also the lockpick, too. I don't know why I held on to the lockpick. And that's all we need for the next segment of the game, because we're going to be heading to the sales office, which is an area that's all the way back uptown, basically, where they're going to have some oil additive that we're going to need to use to combine with some machine oil that we're going to grab from the gas station later. Because we need to combine those two to generate the oil that we need to fuel the train to go and make its way across. Alright, so we got dogs here. Hopefully, should not be an issue. I've been having really bad luck with dogs in this run so far, I'll say that much. They have not been very nice to me. Okay, so we passed by this hallway earlier, and there wasn't really anything we did in here, but now that we're back this way, we're going to grab this fire hose that's chilling over here with the wrench that we picked up. So that's the first time we used the wrench. And then we're going to use the wrench again later when we get to the gas station. But for right now, we're going to use that fire hose, and we're going to head all the way back to where there was a fire, if you remember where it was. There was a fire that was right by the police station. And we're going to go back to that fire and use the hose that we just got to allow us to put out the fire so that we can get access to the sales office, which is behind that way. Alright, so we got dogs here. Sometimes there could be dogs, sometimes there could be zombie cops. Just depends. So yeah, so hopefully you'll remember this area. It was very beginning of the game. We ran by here. There was a zombie dog that jumped out of the fire to try to bite us. But we're back this way now to put out the fire. So now we're doing Firewoman Jill with fire blasting action. Real hose fire. I don't know. Trying some toy figure trying to make it out there. It was probably funny in my head, but you know what? Probably wasn't funny in my head, but I said it anyways. Alright. So, there's this little hallway here we're going to come across, and then at the very end in the next room, we're going to have two bloodsuckers we have to deal with. But usually, we can just run right by them without much issue at all. Okay, so first time we got by him is good. Second time's a little bit tighter, but we'll see how that plays itself out, please. Alright, so some cutscenes, and now we need to punch in a code here. So there's 3 possible codes. We're going to hope for the shortest one. Adraville. Adraville. Oh, baby! Hot dang. Hot dang. Okay, that's really good. That's really good. You pray that you're going to get a short code like that that's going to save you time. So I don't feel quite as bad now, given the fact that we had to do substation to get the grenade launcher. It's not ideal. Oh, baby, and we now have the A's here. Okay, so these gunpowder A's, we're going to pick up 2 of them, and we're going to combine each of the A's with a B, and then which are going to make gunpowder C's. And then we're going to combine the 2 gunpowder C's together to make a gunpowder double C. And then we're going to make freeze rounds with those. Now, why freeze rounds? Because freeze rounds are like the most powerful weapon. So, let me pull that back. They are the most powerfully reasonable weapon to get against Nemesis. Like, legitimately, they are so strong, they will drop Nemesis down. I did not mean to pop that. Okay. That's what we want to get out. Nice. So normally you don't want to pop that vent, but you know, sometimes it's just how it plays out for you. Yeah. You also hope not to get bit by those guys when you're leaving, but once again, that's just how it plays out. Alright. We're going to do a really, really hard turn here to get away from this guy. Ooh, okay. Good. Alright, we're good. Funny piece of trivia. So in this hallway, as I'm running down, you'll see a zombie in the left window here. Right there, you can just barely see it in the window, and you'll hear it moan sometimes. You can't kill that zombie. You can't interact with it anyway. Nobody has any clue why that zombie is there. It's just there. It's in the window, letting you know it's there, but there ain't anything you can do about it. Alright. So this is going to eat into our time a little bit, unfortunately, because we have to wait for this cutscene animation to stop. Slight bit of good news for this is that because we have the Nemesis on our tail, he's going to chase us all the way back to the parking garage. Meaning that most enemies, not all of them, woo! Okay, that was a close swing there. Most enemies, not all of them, will not be in the hallways anymore to make our life a little easier. But that also means we have the Nemesis on our ass the entire time while we're getting back to the parking garage. And he runs fast, and he hurts if he hits you. He hurts a lot. And I don't have a healing item on me right now, which is not the most ideal. But we have some healing items we will pass by. Okay. We're safe right now. That was the last area that, like, Nemesis specifically chases you in on. So that's okay right now. Now, the issue we have here is we need to heal up. So we're going to have to take a couple... We're going to have to take, like, maybe 10-15 seconds to grab some herbs along the way. Just to keep ourselves nice and full of health. So, we have to eat a little bit of time for that, but, you know, it is what it is, so be it. Alright. We're going to climb ourselves up here, skip some more cutscenes. Alright, so now we're going to head back to this item box that was in here. We're going to pick up all, not all, but we're going to pick up some of those items that we dropped earlier. Because we need them to make our lives easier down the road. Because we need to avoid double tracking as much as we possibly can. So we're going to grab the fuse. We're going to grab, we're going to drop this off. We need the wrench. And that's it, because we already did the power cable area. So yeah, that's everything we need. I'm used to having to re-grab the power cable, because normally I don't pick it up early. I pick it up, ooh, yeah. Okay, that's not great. That's a little more damage than I want to have on me right now. But luckily these bloodsuckers won't be here. So I don't have to worry about those guys, and I've cleared the other zombies ahead of me. So we're okay. We're okay. We're basically okay until we make it back to the park area, which is good because when we make it back to the park, there's 2 green herbs to the right. There were 3 in total. We picked up one of them. So we're going to grab the other 2 herbs. We're going to top ourselves off nice and good there, and that'll be enough to get us by until we get to the end of this segment. So, which is kind of a nice thing. Alright, so we're heading inside here. We're going to grab this rusty crank. We got to pick it up. Come on, Jill. Alright, so we're in orange caution. That's okay. Those 2 green herbs we'll have there should even us out nice and good. And then we're going to head to gas station after that. So at the gas station, we're going to pick up the machine oil. And the machine oil is going to be mixed with the oil additive that we picked up from the sales office, which will allow us to, you know, fuel the train, basically. Well, technically it runs off electricity, I guess. So I guess we're not fueling the train. We're just making it so that it's nice and well oiled, I suppose. Alright, so there's 1 green herb. And there's 2 green herbs. And we're not actually going to use them right now. We're going to use them in a little bit because we have to go into the menu very, very shortly. And there's no zombies that we're going to run into that are going to actually be scary to run into. Those zombies spawn, but they can't get us because we just run right past them. But we're going to hop into the menu very, very shortly to get into the gas station up here. So we'll use the green herbs at that point since we have to go into the menu anyways. Ooh, we have red herbs here. You know what? I'm gonna take one of these red herbs and use that instead. Let's use that instead. There we go. Now we have a little more full health, which is good. And we have a spare green herb we can use for clutch if we need it. Technically, we're losing a little bit of time, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Alright. So now, inside here, we need to do a little bit of a number puzzle thing. Which is going to unlock the area to basically get us in to use... it's going to unlock like a little cabinet area that lets us get access to the machine oil. We're going to hope that the puzzle is going to be a very, very easy one. It just kind of depends a little bit on how luck plays out. But hopefully it'll be a good puzzle to us. We'll see. I'm going to just focus face for a second on this one here. Crap. There. Got there eventually. Took a little longer than I wanted to. That one was good. There. Okay. That wasn't too bad. Certainly not my best time I've spent on that one, but it was okay. It was okay. So it just depends. So, like, I know some of those layouts much better than other layouts. It just depends a little bit. Plus, I spent the extra time healing there, picking up the red herbs and stuff like that. So I lost a little time there, but we're topped off on health, which is what's important right now because we want to make sure we're we're in good states. At as much time as we can, just for, for survivability of the run. That's the important part. Finish the run. You can't have a good run if you don't finish the run. Hey, big whiffer. You gotta go back to t-ball practice, buddy. Alright. So now we're gonna run back through these zombies that were here. We're gonna hopefully not get bit at all by any of them. Sweet. Okay, good, good, good. And we're basically gonna make our way all the way back to the train station to load it up with all the stuff we got and then take off. And... what was that? Did something happen? Did you guys feel that too? Whoa, we fell underground. What could have caused that? Can't be anything bad, right? What's that? It's a giant worm! Yeah, so this guy. We're gonna fight him later as a boss. Right now, he's just kind of a nuisance to us while we do this little puzzle game here of turning on power. And hopefully we should be good. Rapidly tap to hopefully interact with the ladder. Yes, okay. Alright. So you need to turn on the two switches, then pull down the ladder. However, the worm gets a little predictive about where you're going to be sometimes. So you want to make sure he doesn't take a good chomp out of you if you can avoid it at least. Because, not getting damaged is a good thing, right? Alright, so now we are back at the trolley. We're going to load up all the items we got, and we're going to get out of Dodge. Alright, there's the first one. And then we're going to combine the oil with this, and then pop that in there. And that's everything we got in the train. So now we got everything loaded up. We're going to get out of the city, man. We're going to leave, and we're going to be safe and escape, and everyone's going to be happy. Nothing bad could happen. Totally nothing bad, right? No. You made it out. This ominous music is just a foolhardy. Like, nothing bad could happen. Mikhail! Or, Nemesis could show up in your train unexpected. So we're just going to say, bye, Nemi, and then get out of here. And then Mikhail is going to be a boss, and he's going to shoot him up, and then blow up the train. At least his section of the train, and take Nemesis with him. So there we go. At the end of the game, we won. Nemesis is dead. We did it, folks. It's that easy.
No, the brakes are out.
Hey Jill, I have a question for you. Do you think it's good if I just speedrun this game all the time?
It's useless.
She said it's useless. Alright, so I should just stop speedrunning all together. Just don't speedrun this game, don't speedrun any games. That's what Jill said, man. And I have to abide by what Jill says. So, Is what it is sometimes. I just accept it. Alright, so we made our way now to the clock tower as the train crashed here. We now basically need to do a bunch of a couple like item puzzles here and there to allow us to do a fight against Nemesis. Oh, sweet. We have early powders, as they're kind of dubbed right here. So those sets of 4 powders can spawn in 1 of 2 locations. This is the most ideal because then they're right here and they're easier to grab for the most part, which is a good thing. So we want to try to grab them now very quickly and then get out of here. Them zombies. Oop. Oop, oop, oop. Oop, 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 oop. Oop, 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 oop. Okay. I don't think I've ever gotten grabbed by a zombie in here before. Because it was not letting me pick up that B one for whatever reason. Alright, so we're going to get out of here. And we'll deal with these in a different location. So, as you saw, we grabbed 2 A's and 2 B's. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to combine these down to 2 C's, and then combine them again, and then make ourselves some more freeze ammo. Because freeze ammo is going to be our bae in this run, man. Freeze ammo is our god and savior right now. It's going to ensure we can actually kill the enemies we need to kill. So you see those extra set of rounds there. Well, first, we're going to get some nice extra freeze rounds from Carlos, because he's a good guy and he understands freeze rounds are very important to us. We're going to ignore those grenade rounds that are there, just from an item space perspective. Instead, I want to spend that item space grabbing this first aid spray that's chilling right here on this table instead. Because that's just what I want to have my item set up a little better there for that case, at least specifically. So now we're in the clock tower, as I said. We're going to go to the far left side over here. We're going to pick up a key that we need to go all the way up to... Okay, there it is. Okay. Sometimes the game has a little bit of a long load time in some areas. It just depends how stuff loads. And of course we have bloodsuckers, because, you know, this game really hates me right now. Actually, I don't think it hates me. It kind of loves and hates me. It spits in my face, and then it spits on my one cheek, and then it caresses me on the other cheek, is kind of what I'm feeling right now with this game. It gave me some really early puzzle, easy ones, like Adveril was the first guess, which is a good thing, and then I got the first RPD puzzle, which was good. So I think, you know, it's a love-hate relationship that this game has with me, and like most runners, I think, too. So zombies are going to bust through these windows. We're going to be like, oh my god, I know you're such a fan of me, but I gotta go. We're just gonna ignore them. And they'll be there, but we don't want to worry about them. It's fine, it's fine. And then we're gonna run back this way to the main foyer. We're gonna head up the stairs, and we're gonna use the first key that we got, that we just picked up from the chapel area over there. And that's gonna allow us to get access to like the inner workings of the clock tower area. Well, we're gonna do a very fun puzzle. The music box puzzle. One of the most heaviest RNG dependent puzzles, because there are 6 different things you have to manipulate in the puzzle. It became such an annoyance. Well, they didn't do it for this reason, but so what makes this interesting particularly is when you compare the times between the English the English version of Resident Evil 3 and the Japanese version of Resident Evil 3, there is some difference of like, I think about like World Record times, I think it's like 5 minutes, 6 minutes difference. I could be wrong, I don't 100% remember offhand. But there is any amount of time difference between them. One of the reasons why is this puzzle. And it's stupid because of that. So, in the US version, this is randomized. You need to put the pegs in different orders to make the tunes sound correctly. However, what they said is, they said afterwards, they said, hey, well, what if someone's hard of hearing? They won't be able to hear the tune differences. So you have to make something that can work for them. So what they decided to do was, okay, 1 out of 2, good, that's so far. Alright, that's another good one. So what they decided to do in the future versions was make it so the puzzle always has the same solution. Ooh, okay, this is a really good music box. Ooh, okay, only 1 wrong, baby. Mwah. Only 1 of them we guessed wrong. That's pretty good. So so they did an update version in Japan, the 1.1 version, and they used that version for all subsequent releases. The Dreamcast version, the PC version, etc. all use that version. So in that version, it's a set one. Like the puzzle result is always the same no matter when you do it. So the Japanese version is slightly faster as a result because you don't have to worry about actually guessing the combination. You can just punch it in. And then when you see it ahead of time, you get a chance to see the order it's in. You just know how many you have to move. So you can kind of more easily punch through it, basically. So that saves, like, you know, maybe 30 seconds of guessing time-wise if you don't need to switch stuff. Because for me, for example, I have to play every single one to know if it's right. Even if I do guess correctly, I still have to play it and hear the tune play. Whereas when you do it, if you know the combination, you just have to switch only the ones that need to be switched. So, you know, it helps any bit amount at least. Plus, text, you know, the whole, like, Japanese text, you can say more things in Japanese with less text. Come on, combine. You can say more things in Japanese than you can say in English in the same amount of text or less text. So stuff scrolls by faster, you know, little time savings like that add up as time goes on. So. There's also another interesting, fun difference between the versions, too. Looks like that says... So I need to see that clock to see what time it is. And then depending on what time that clock is, there's these balls have to go in a very specific combination. We'll see if I can figure out if I can read what one that is. It looked like it said maybe 9 o'clock. No, 7 o'clock. Okay. Obsidian. And then we're going to do crystal. And then we're going to do amber. And that puzzle basically makes it so it spins all the way around back to noon. Or midnight, depending on how you want to do it. And then we're going to get ourselves a little clockwork piece that we're going to use to make the best. So the reason why we're doing all this stuff, story plot line wise, is there's an escape helicopter that's going to come in to save us. However, the alert for it to let the helicopter know to come in is to play the bells of the clock tower. Makes sense, you know, it'd be well heard enough. So we need to get, so there's gear pieces that are missing in the clock tower area to make it turn and make the bell play. So that's one of the gear pieces. Rather more, it's actually, technically speaking, it's one gear piece, but it's split into two pieces. That's one piece of the gear, and then the other piece of the gear is back up in the clock tower area, but we don't need to grab it yet because we only just need to combine it with that piece that we got. So that's why we didn't bother picking it up, because inventory space is important. So we can basically pick it up now that we have the spare inventory space up there, and then combine it there and be done with it. Alright. Okay, so I was getting the stuff. Alright, so the other interesting point that's different between the US and the Japanese version. The US version is actually harder. It actually is. Normally you would think the opposite, but yeah, the US version is harder. I believe, so it's either your weapons do less damage, or enemies do more damage to you. I don't remember 100% which it is. But it's one of those combinations. I forget which exactly. I believe you take more damage as a whole. So that means you need to be more cautious about healing as a whole in the game, which is interesting in its own barrel of fun, honestly. Alright, so we're picking up the grenade launcher. We're swapping over to it. And we got a spare herb to heal if we need it, but we're not going to need it, honestly, because if we do this right, we will down Nemi completely before he can do enough damage to us that would normally kill us. And that's okay because we get a free heal after the Nemi fight. Jill gets automatically healed to full. So, as long as we make it through without dying to Nemi, we get a free heal, and we don't have to worry about spending any healing items on it. Hey, the helicopter showed up. No, not really. Nemi blew it up with a rocket. So now we're going to go back to Nemi, and we're going to blow him to chunks with a bunch of these freeze rockets here. And he's going to fire rockets at us at the same time, and that's okay. Alright. Nice! Okay. No
sorry.
damage! And that was really fast, too.
Please, wake up!
Ho Nelly. Ho Nelly. Okay, that was a crispy Nemi one. That was crispy. Mwah. Beautiful.
October 1st, night.
Alright.
I woke up to the sound of falling rain.
That is like the first gate in the game. The first big, heavy gate in the game. He's not a difficult boss fight. It's more just getting to him without running into any hiccups or issues along the way. So now, we take over as Carlos. Now, the reason why you didn't see in the plot storyline-wise, which, once again, if you really want to play any of these games, please play them first before watching my episodes, because I skip all the cutscenes and you won't understand anything of what's going on for the most part, other than me explaining it. So what happened in the story, let's see if I can get by the zombie here. Ooh, yes. Usually I have difficulty getting by that zombie around the corner, by the door. But that was good. That was just delicious. That saved a good couple seconds there. So what happened was during the fight with Nemi and Jill that we just got out of, Jill gets stabbed with one of Nemi's like tentacles that he shoots out, and when he does that, he poisons her, so she's infected with the T-virus. Bloodsuckers. I hate bloodsuckers, man. I hate them. They're the worst. So she's infected with the T-virus now at this point. So Carlos, who apparently hasn't been infected with the T-virus somehow, is going to go to the hospital area to go get her a cure. Or a vaccine, rather more, I think, specifically. Which doesn't make a lot of sense, because usually vaccines are preventative. They're not meant to kill, but I don't know. I'm not gonna harp too much on a game about reanimated zombies and crazy, biological creatures. Nonetheless, we're getting a vaccine or a cure of some sort for the T-virus, and we're going to help her survive so she doesn't get killed by it. So we get to play busy time with Carlos. Now, the cool thing about this is it's a fairly short segment. It's pretty unique and kind of intense because you go through a couple different areas. You encounter a bunch of new enemy types like the Hunter Betas, those guys, as well as the Hunter Gammas, who we're going to encounter, which are the water aquatic types. But they are not, they don't show up very often. They're only in 2 segments specifically that they appear in. So they're not a super common one you fight in this one. The betas show up a lot more, honestly, comparatively, which are your more traditional, like, hunters, but they have this weird, like, growth appendage crap on their shoulder. I don't know what it is about it. Like that red goop that's on their body. I don't know why it's there. I don't know why it looks kind of weird, personally. So we're going to the hospital. We're going to head up to the top floor to grab the vaccine base, and then we're going to bring that downstairs to the basement where we're going to mix that up to make the full vaccine to save our bae Jill. Because we're big strong Carlos, we're going to save the day. Because only big strong Carlos can move that giant bell that was in the way of the clock tower. So, okay, so we're going to head in here. There's going to be a cutscene we're going to see where, you haven't even met Nikolai, technically, because he's always been in cutscenes, so you really don't know anything about him. But basically, Nikolai is still alive, and he's going around killing people. So Nikolai is bad. Nikolai is bad peeps, apparently. So, there's that. But that's basically what the cutscene was. He killed a guy, but he didn't actually kill the guy. The guy blew himself up with a grenade and almost killed Nikolai. Nikolai jumped out a window, and that's where we are right there. So, in here, there's a puzzle that we have. So there's going to be a number combination, and there's going to be a position that we have to move a thing inside. So based off of where it's located, so 531, and you are located in that back corner. So we need to do the mirror image of that on the other side. So it's on this side, so we need to put it on that side over there. So basically, furthest side back area of the room, same thing, furthest side back area of the room on the other side for the mirror image. And then we're going to punch in the code 531 in a safe that's going to fall off from that painting over there. So we're going to push this guy over here just a little bit. Then we're going to hop back around. We're going to push it forward a bit more. And then we're going to get back in here. Push it back to this corner. And then we're going to punch in the code 5, 3, 1. Bam. Now the good news is there's no more randomized puzzles at this point. Everything else is predetermined for the most part. At least for like things I need to memorize for the puzzles. Like that you can technically try to guess that puzzle, but if you guess wrong, you can try to guess the right position it's supposed to be in, but if you guess wrong, you get shocked a little bit, which I don't think hurts you. Then you have to leave the room and then come back into the room to reset the area, the thing that actually like you need to move in the way. So it kind of just eats into your time a little bit, unfortunately. So the term, there is an actual term for doing that puzzle specifically. It's called YOLO Carlos. You go in there and you hope to dear God that probability is on your side and you guess the right one. Otherwise, you eat the time and you have to go in there and figure out which one it is. You have to keep guessing. So a lot of the top world record speedrunners will literally just go into that second room and then just try to guess one of the combinations, whichever the fastest one is for the location to move into. I think it's the one we did, 531 possibly, but I'm not entirely sure. So like I said, literally that segment is just called YOLO Carlos. We're not doing YOLO Carlos because I don't want to risk that. It only takes an extra like 15 seconds of time to go in there and figure out which one it is. So it's not worth it just trying to do that, honestly, instead. I'd just rather go in and get a safety assurance for which one it is and be done with it. And luckily that puzzle is always the same. It's 1-3A, so nice and easy. Alright. So we got ourselves the vaccine medium, which we're going to combine with the vaccine base that we got upstairs. And then we're going to use that on our Jill to save her. Ooh, 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 ooh. I don't think I've ever actually gotten hit by that guy before. I went just a little too far. Normally, that guy like never hits me because I just hook into the door real fast. But, it's luck sometimes. This is what it is. Alright, so normally, for my luck at least, the zombies tend to spawn, for me at least, back here on the first floor when I head back out to leave. But because the zombies spawned on that floor, we're going to have hunters here instead. So we're just going to very quickly and gracefully run by the hunters and hopefully not get hit. Sweet. Alright, that was good. That was very good. And now we're going to basically make our way out of the hospital and make our way back to Jill. And nothing bad will happen when we're leaving the hospital, right? Nothing bad will happen. Everything will be fine, right? Nothing could happen that's bad. Except maybe timed bombs strapped to the structure of the freaking hospital that are going to blow it up so we have to run before it explodes in our face. You know. But nothing like that would happen. Nothing. No. That would just be silly for that to happen now, wouldn't it? Alright, so we made it out of the building, obviously, and didn't die, because otherwise that would be, you know, kind of game over at that point. And now we're going to make our way all the way back to Jill. We're going to help save her, buddies. We're going to save our buddy, Jill. Now, we picked up a first aid spray along the way, back in the hospital, because we have these bloodsuckers here. Because they can be kind of annoying to deal with, depending on how they want to position themselves. Ooh. Okay. Okay, alright. That wasn't too bad. We only got kind of like jutted back a little bit. We didn't get hurt at all, which is important. You see like that stuff falling above us? That's weird. What could be making that, man? That's just kind of odd. What could that be? I wonder. Oh, it's Nemi. And he's even more disgusting looking now with more tentacles and crap coming out of himself. So he didn't die, you know. Crazy idea. That, you know, we would be able to kill this thing called Nemesis. So yeah, Nemesis ain't dead. And here's a secret. We have to fight him 2 more times. 2 more times. So we're not done with him yet. But that's okay, because we made it back to Jill. And we've rescued her. Yay! So now we're proceeding into the last 2 segments of the, Oops. I menued too fast on that. We're proceeding into the last 2 segments of the game now. The park and the dead factory. So we're going to do a little bit of item arrangement. We need to pick up a few things that we're going to use. And we're going to re-equip the shotgun. Give ourselves a little ammo there. And then we're good. So the park was normally a scary place for me. As far as, like, consistency of being able to, like, make it through without any concern, without, like, anything's bothering me. But I've gotten some new strategies that make it a little easier. So normally, for those that have, like, hung around in the streams that I do when I do practice runs for this game ahead of time, you'll know a phrase I use called park hunters. Park hunters. They are the hunter betas that you encounter in the park. And they scared me for a while because there's 3 of them. They're really hard to target sometimes. You're in a very enclosed space, and you can do very, very little to not get whacked by those guys. And they hurt a lot. So, after a while, I just said, you know what, I wonder. And I just decided to run past them the whole time. And if you do that, it works usually pretty well. You'll maybe get hit once, maybe twice, and you don't have to waste any ammo. And you take a lot less damage, typically, than trying to actually kill them. As crazy as it is. So, that's been a pretty decent strategy for me so far in the last few runs that I've practiced. So we're going to hope that that run works again for me. We'll see, we'll see. So, we grabbed the first part key, but not part key 1 that I've listed above, because that split's just way too short for me to want to do that, honestly. Oh, you did not die, really? Come on, man. So yeah, so we grab part key, so we grab the first part key, but we use it pretty much right away, so I'm not super concerned about that one, and it's a pretty easy run to get into there. So we're going to actually grab 2 more part keys that I am dubbing part key 1 and part key 2, but technically they would be like part key 2 and part key 3, respectively. So we're going to grab those 2 other keys down the way. Alright, so we got hunters, hunter gammas specifically. Ooh, okay. So those are not the scary hunters. Those are not scary park hunters. This is scary park hunters now. So let's see how we fare. Alright, so first one jumps. Okay, good. Now we just have to get this part key and then get out of here without getting hurt. Okay, only 1 swipe. That's not too bad, actually. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. That's what I usually average, just 1 swipe. So, that's pretty dang good. Alright, so now we just have to make it back past these guys. Good, okay. Alright, that was good. That was very good. So normally I would have taken the time to kill those guys because they're scary, they're hunters. But in reality, it's just easier just to run by them and just patch yourself up if you need it down the road. You know, it's kind of silly. It's kind of silly how simple it is when you actually sit down to look at it. All right, so we have this water puzzle here that we need to do. I'm gonna focus for a second. Boop. So we have to rotate those into a very specific combination so it drains the water here, which allows us to go into a sewer area that's over here. That's going to bring us to a secret graveyard area. I don't know if it's a secret, it's a graveyard, I guess, but it's going to bring us to a graveyard area where there's a park office, basically. And that's what we're going to use part key 1, or part key 2, depending on how you think about it, to open up the door for us. And inside of there, we're going to grab another part key. But hey, what was all that rumbling and loud noise? That wouldn't be anything scary, would it? That would never be anything scary. No, never. Never. And when we're inside here, we're going to do a couple of inventory management things. We're going to use a few items. We're going to swap around a few items. We're going to grab a couple things. Basically all in prep for a boss fight. I'll let you guess who we're going to fight, if you don't know already. Yeah. Alright, so we're going to use the lighter here to burn this, like, crap that's in the way here, which will let us get rid of the lighter, which is really nice. That gets rid of an inventory, that gives us an inventory slot back. And now we don't have to worry about managing anymore, which is good. And then we're going to head over here, and we're going to grab these 2 B ammo gunpowders. And rather than what we would normally have done in the past, where we would combine them with 2 A's, we're actually just going to hold on to them for right now. Alright, that's all we're going to do with them at the moment. And we're going to use this pole to basically open up this slot for us here inside. And you'll see what we'll see what I'm talking about with those gunpowders very shortly, what we're going to do with them. You'll see. Don't you worry. But for right now, we're going to just hold on to them for the moment. We're going to head inside. There's a park key inside here that's going to allow us to basically get out of the park. So where we had those hunters earlier that we ran by, we needed a key to go to the very end of the pathway there. And this is where we got the key so that we can get out of the park. So we saved a good amount of time there because I did not head into the save room yet. So we're going to probably so the next boss fight against Gravedigger is probably going to be a little bit offset by that, but we'll see. It should be fine. It should even itself out well enough. So we're going to drop this in here. We're going to grab this. We're going to grab this. And then we're going to take these bees and we're going to combine them with these rounds to make acid rounds. And those acid rounds are going to be a very specialty thing we're going to use on Gravedigger specifically, because it's going to allow us to basically plow him down really fast. Yeah. Hopefully the boss fight goes well. We'll see. We shall see. Alright. So we're going to shake the floor, we're going to run back real quick, which is going to cause the boss fight to trigger a little faster.
What's going on? Whoa!
And then we're going to get ready to blast some guys up here. So we're going to fire these acid rounds right into Gravedigger, and we're going to use 10 of them in total. So we're just going to basically hit him with as much as we possibly can to deal some good damage on him. I'm going to use that green herb I held on to just to top myself off. And then he's going to do this like little kind of grab motion a few times, where he's going to spawn out and then try to bite me. And he's going to do it a couple of times possibly. 4 times. Alright, so now he's going to come out and actually spawn fully. And then I'm going to hope he's going to spawn on this side, which he is. Good. I'm going to wait for him to come this way. Oop. And now he's dead. So we're going to run away. He's going to die slowly into his little animation there, and then we're going to escape out of here. So yeah, so we went a little over there, but we went under in part key 2, so it balanced itself out well enough. And there's spiders. You gotta watch out for their poison, because we don't want to get poisoned. Poison is not fun in this game. There's opportunities to heal from it, but, like, there are not that many blue herbs in the game, I can tell you that much. They are usually very conveniently placed when you could be poisoned in the game, which is kind of a nice thing. But all the same, they're not that common. They're a lot less common than they are in, like, RE1, for example, or RE2. RE3, there's, like, hardly any in here whatsoever. So we're going to switch over to the shotgun real quick. Blast this guy out of the way. Really? Just die. I want to avoid getting any extra damage right now. As I say that, as I'm about to get bit by other guys. We have a first aid spray on us that we can use if need be, but ideally I want to hopefully not take any excess damage if I can avoid it. Ooh, okay, that was good. Alright, so we're basically going to make our way all the way back through all this Hunter Alley, if you want to call it that, with a better dub name. Alright, jump. Nope. Okay, cool. First one. Alright, third one. Jump, 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 jump. Nice. Cool. And we got no damage on that one. That was really nice there. So we used that part key we just got to get over here to this gate. And we're now going to head into the Dead Factory, the final area of this game. So we're nearing the crunch time, man. This is good. This is good. There's only like 2 hiccups that could happen in this run at this point. Only about 2, honestly. And one of them's not even that really bad of a thing that could happen. Well, actually, no, both can be bad, depending on you. So, there's two things that can happen at this point where this run could get kind of sketch. It's going to be one area we have to go through where we have to run through some water, and in that water, there's one of two possibilities of things that can spawn. Either leeches can spawn, or beta hunters can spawn. Now, in water, you move slower. So, trying to dodge enemies when you're going slow, or run past them, kind of difficult. So I'm going to hope that there are leeches there. If there's leeches, that becomes a very easy segment, and there's nothing to worry about there, and then that one's an easy push. If there's hunters, it becomes a little bit trickier. Got it. Sweet. So there's a little trick you can do here where normally you do this big vent puzzle where you have to turn off vents in different ways to get access to there. But if you get your timing just right, you can kind of like force push yourself into the vent to get just close enough to hit the switch. And you don't have to do the whole puzzle, which saves, you know, a good solid like 30 seconds, maybe even a minute, depending on how long it takes you to do the puzzle. So, you know, that's good. That's good time right there. So yeah, so what we're doing at this point is we're basically we're essentially grabbing the last like bits of stuff we need to finish the game right here. There's not too much else we need to do at this point. So we're gonna do one thing real quick. We're gonna take our shotgun, we're gonna top it off. We're gonna toss this in here to free up a little extra room. Or we're gonna toss one of these other first aid sprays in there too. And we're going to need that space for a little later, when we need to do some combining of crap along the way. Because we need to do some... we're going to get some more ammos. We're going to pick up A and B gunpowders. So we need enough space to be able to pick them all up and merge them together and everything too. Plus we're picking up a whole bunch of other stuff along the way to make it easier. So I'm going to grab that piece, I'm going to leave the room, then immediately go back into the room to reset some zombie positions to make it a little bit easier to dodge them. Because right now when we go in the first time, all the zombies are all clustered at the end of this hallway. And I don't want that. I want to not have to worry about zombies, and I want them to be in that position. So I can just run right to the door. Nice and easy. Alright. We're going to use this elevator to head downstairs. Now, this is where it's going to could get a little dicey if we have... hunters, not in this room. Well, there could be hunters in this room. Alright, so we got bloodsuckers. Bloodsuckers is okay, as long as I can get by them. Okay, so I'm in yellow caution right now. This is the room where I could have hunters. And this is where the room gets scary for me a little bit. Okay, we got leeches. Cool. Alright. We have a good run right now, folks. We have a good run. Ooh, like, it's stupid. That area scares me more than Final Nemesis, honestly. As stupid as it sounds. Alright, so we're going to head in here. We're going to dump off a few more items that we don't need. So we don't need this. We don't need healing herbs or healing sprays right now because there's no enemies down in this next room because we just have a puzzle we have to do. So... instead, we're just going to drop everything we need just to give us enough space to pick up the stuff we need down here. So down in this room, we're going to get another first aid spray. We're going to get some ammo that we can pick up, the gunpowder ammo, rather, more, to let us do some combinations. So we're going to pick up 2 Bs, 2 As, and we're going to use that to build us 10 or 11 more freeze rounds. I think 11. I think it's 11, usually. And then we're going to use those to give us just a little bit more damage use against Nemi in the very end game. And then we're going to do a water puzzle. Alright. So, this puzzle, I have to basically line up the 3 rows to get it in here. I'm going to focus face for a little bit because I have to, like, do some mental thinking on this one. So sorry if I get kind of quiet for a second. That needs to go back left one, because that's the only combination for it. B. And then let's try C. Does that work? I think it does. Yes. Sweet. Okay. Sorry. That's one of those ones I have to do some mental math to pay attention to because I have to get everything lined up. The kind of nice thing about it is that the top one is always consistent in the way it's set up. So you don't have to worry too much about stuff, which is kind of nice. But you need to move. The top one is basically, you move A because it has the 3 biggest blocks, and then you shift B and C around to match up the differences at that point. Alright. Water puzzle done. Now we are in the home stretch at this point, baby. This is it right here. There ain't much more left of this game right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stock up on all the first aid sprays in the world, baby. And we're probably gonna have to. We'll probably maybe use one as we make our way out of here, because we might get bit by something or whatnot. But I'd rather keep us in a good topped-off state. Hopefully I don't get hit by any of these guys. Nice, okay. And then if I can make it through bloodsuckers without getting hit, that would be great. But I don't know, and I want to play it safe. We'll see what luck has in store for us. Okay, that's good. Ooh! Oh, Nelly. Okay, that was very nice. That was very nice. So normally, if in front of a boss fight, I'd say, oh, I'm going to heal, make sure I'm nice and good and ready. I'm not worried about that for Nemesis 2. We'll show you, we'll see why. We'll see why. We'll see why very shortly. Nemesis 2 is actually the easiest fight of all. As long as I don't screw up the rotation of what I need to do, it's a very easy fight. And you'll see why. Because the freeze rounds are really overpowered on Nemesis. Like, really overpowered. It's crazy how strong they are. So, when you fight him in this round, if you want to do the most ideal strategy, you would use the knife, and you would hit these little acid sprays that are on the far right side. 3 acid spray shots to Nemesis, and he goes down. However, the acid sprays and regular damage you do with guns and weapons don't stack. They're actually, he has like 2 separate damage bars on him. So you either kill him with acid or you kill him with regular ammo. It's kind of a weird, like, setup of a fight. So ideally you would use the knife so you don't have to pick up any extra ammo and just take him out that way. I want to play it safer because trying to take him out with acid is a little inconsistent. Like, I can usually get the first 2 decently, but the third one's kind of random because by that point he loses his head, literally and figuratively speaking, and he kind of goes a little more random, and you can't guarantee he's going to do the exact thing you want him to do all the time. So this is a little more of a consistent strategy to make sure he goes down faster. He's going to get hit by the acid when he stands back up. 1, 2, and down. Woo! Alright, that was good. Ideally, I don't want that acid to happen at all because that ends up making it take longer, but I expect it's going to happen, so it's fine. It's a thing I kind of like accept that will happen. So I'm okay with that. Alright, so we're going to grab the card key. Now we're going to use that to get us out of here, but we're going to do a few things. We're going to equip that first, because we want the shotgun on our person when we escape, because it's going to make our life a lot easier to kill enemies as we're getting out of here. So you have an FMB cutscene, this big area is going to open up, all the trash is going to be destroyed, and Nemesis is going to get destroyed with it, too, because we killed Nemesis, right? Confirmed. We totally killed Nemesis. Yeah.
Evacuate.
So the other plot piece, as you're hearing right now, is so the missile strike is being sent to Raccoon City. So because the city's become overrun with zombies, basically the US government said, yeah, let's get rid of it, just nuke it. Just nuke it, get out of it. Get out of here. So they're gonna nuke Raccoon City, unfortunately. Okay, that was pretty clean, actually. Only 1 bite there. Usually I get bit like 2 or 3 times, so it's kind of a little all over the place. But that was not too bad. Now, those bloodsuckers that are there are normally gone now, which is good. So instead, we just have some zombies we have to kill along the way. Yeah, just die. Alright, so we're going to grab these herbs, and we can't top ourselves off, right? I would normally grab those herbs to top myself off, but I'm actually full on first aid sprays, so... that's okay. That's okay, I can work with it. I'll use a first aid spray instead. I don't really need all those first aid sprays that I have, honestly. They're way more than I need. So we're gonna wait to use the first aid spray until we get to like the area, because there is an extra zombie here that could grab me technically and give me a little extra damage, just in case. But we want to make sure that we're good to go, at least. Okay, so nothing else can damage me at this point except Final Nemi. So we're going to get ourselves all ready and equipped as soon as we get inside the room here. We're going to get our grenade launcher, we're going to pull that out, get all the freeze rounds we have available, we're going to basically burn him down with freeze rounds, as well as this big rail cannon that's inside of here that's going to allow us to kill him, hopefully a little bit faster. So we're going to do that first, we're going to heal, and we are good to go. Okay, so now this final process here, so this can be a little scary. I'm going to be very conservative. I'm going to heal myself a lot. Because we're having a pretty good run right now. We're definitely set to get sub 130, which is my goal. I don't know if we're going to get a personal best here, personally. But, we'll, I don't know if we're going to get a personal best here, but we'll definitely have a good sub 130 run as long as we finish. That is the key word. We need to finish. So I'm going to be very, very safe about this run. So what we're basically doing right now is there's a big rail cannon there, and we're going to use that to kill Nemesis for us. So we need to get him positioned in such a way where that rail cannon is basically just going to fire and blast him to Kingdom Come. But it has to happen a couple times. The most ideal scenario is 2-cycling Nemesis, where that rail cannon fires twice and it kills him on the second time. It's kind of tough for it to pull it off, though. I got lucky that where my personal best, I did pull off a 2-cycle. It's hard to get it consistently, though. So we're going to play it a little safe, and we're going to make sure that he doesn't do any extra damage to us, which is important at the moment. So right where that's positioned, it's going to fire eventually, which is going to create a tunnel through the middle of all this like crap that's in the way, and that's going to be the tunnel we want to get him in front of, so that he gets shot by it, basically. Alright. Alright. So we gotta look out for a few things here. He's gonna spit acid at us and flail us with his things, which is bad. And the acid does a little bit of damage, but also he leaves by acid puddles, which also do a little bit of damage as well, and can stack up and knock us down pretty fast if we don't pay attention to it a little bit. Alright. So we're gonna start off here, we're gonna hit him hard. Alright. So we're going to move over this way. Ooh. Alright, I can probably take 1 or 2 more acid sprays. I'm going to heal just to be safe. Alright. We're in good set, so that's going to fire. Create an opening for me to run there, and I'm going to run right down through that pathway to get out of his way, to get him to go down the middle area here. And we're going to hit him with a few of these acid sprays. And then we're going to switch to shotgun. And that's going to be pretty much all of our ammo at this point. Oh yeah, we got a 2-cycle! Oh baby, another 2-cycle! Okay. Hey, chat, you wanna know fun thing about this? Everyone watching on YouTube, Mix, or Twitch? We beat the game. It's done. There ain't nothing left, baby.
Warning.
The game is over.
System overheating.
Will this be a PB? This might be a PB. Maybe. We'll see. 125.20. 125.20. I think we're gonna be a little short of a PB. I think we're gonna be a little short. It was 125.20. That is like burned into my head. Yeah, we're gonna be a little short of 125 of a PB, but we're super close. Just for that, we're gonna exterminate him the good old-fashioned way. We need a little time here. We're gonna go out with a bang. Jill, give Nemesis some stars. Boom, boom, boom. It's fine. We're below 130. I don't care. We're gonna give Nemi some stars.
You want stars? I'll give you stars.
Yeah. Like a badass. Love it. Love it. Every time I do this run, like every time I just play the game, I always do that because it's just so satisfying to kill Nemi with the magnum. Just roll up with the magnum, just pop, pop, pop right in the head. It's great. It's a great feeling. Alright. So, elevator's gonna drop down here. We're gonna, Jill's gonna run out through the door, and then as soon as the, so we're gonna escape in the helicopter. As soon as this cuts out and the helicopter video starts, that's gonna be time. Boom. 1:26:13. So only like just a hair under a minute, just a hair under a minute over my personal best time. But that's because I let the stars final animation play out because it's so cool. I had to let it play out since we were under. Cool. That was actually a really good run too on its own. That was pretty good. The only times we had some bad, so we got really good times on all of our like guessings for things, like for the for most of the guessing stuff. For like the RPD safe, we got that first try, which was really good. We got the sales office guess the first try, which was really good. What got us, and this is what got us. We would have this would have guaranteed been a PB run. This would have been a new PB run for me. Had the grenade launcher been at the police station. That's the only thing that did it. Everything else in this run was golden to get below a PB. Because the grenade launcher was not at the police station, at the substation, we had to spend an extra 36 seconds, plus a couple extra seconds at the police station to hit no on the menu, because it's faster to hit yes. Yeah, because of that, we did not get a PB on this run. That's how this game is, man. This game is so randomized to a point, it's a little frustrating, but it's also kind of exciting because every run, you just might get that perfect combination, and it's exciting, and it gets you energized. And then you might do something stupid and die and screw it all up. It's both great and horrible at the same time. What can you do? What can you do sometimes? But yes, thank you everyone for watching this episode of Gotta Go Fast. Super appreciate it as always. Let us know what you thought about it. For those of you who are getting super excited for the Resident Evil 3 remake, as well as Resident Evil Resistance, the 4v1 multiplayer, you know, terror, bad guy versus 4 good people. I don't know the category other than 4v1. That's the best I can describe it. If you're playing either of those games, you're playing up, let us know what you thought about in this video. Leave a comment below if you're watching on YouTube, or leave some comments in chat if you're watching this on Mixer or Twitch. Don't forget to subscribe to us on Mixer and Twitch if you're interested in supporting us, or subscribe to us on YouTube to see about when new videos come for all of the other great stuff we have. And yeah, thank you everyone for all this, as usual. A little bit of a special episode as a whole because it's a game I care about. Also, this is around the time of the 1-year anniversary of RetroFizz. So, just the fact that we made it this far, you've been supportive of not just Gotta Go Fast, but RetroFizz as a whole, it really means a lot to us. And look at this beautiful music playing in the background as I'm saying this. It just gets you all teary-eyed to want to say some stuff. But anyways, I really do appreciate it as a whole. From myself and all the RetroFizz community, we really thank you for all your support. We really do. So, with that said, as usual, thank you for everyone watching this episode of Gotta Go Fast. Keep watching this and other great RetroFizz content, and we'll catch you later. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching this episode of Gotta Go Fast. Let us know what you thought about it. Got a game you'd like to see us try? Tweet at RetroFizzTV and use the hashtag GottaGoFast. Be sure to follow us on Mixer, Twitch, and YouTube to stay up to date on all the latest RetroFizz and Gotta Go Fast content. Also, be sure to check out speedrun.com/SaviorXTanrin to see all the speedruns we've done.